The cold winter sun shone through the window of my office like the angel of death, peeking into the house of an Egyptian, checking to see if the blood of the lamb was on the doorframe, or if she was free to take the firstborn child. Days like this are always the coldest in the city. The sky is bright blue, and the sun casts cold hands out to meet us, wrapping her arms around our necks like a lady in a red dress. Her kiss lands on our cheeks, beautiful and sensual, but empty of warmth. Days like these make you feel like maybe it would be better if you just stayed in bed. I know I'd have liked to, but we all have to man our lonely posts on the watchtower. Dad always said I was born on a day like today. The week before I'd been born, it looked like there was going to be an early spring. But then I came into the world, and it dipped below zero and stayed there right until May. It was the longest winter they'd seen in years. Dad lives in Panama now, spending his days drinking mojitos on the beach with a washed-up telenovela star. I guess he's done all right for himself. He tried to call me earlier. I'm gonna have to remember to call him back. My name is Sam Graves. I'm a private eye. You got a big, naughty problem that can only be solved by some snooping around? You come to me. I don't know the meaning of life, but I can catch a cheating spouse as good as the next detective. On the picture shows people watch on their computer screens, they like to make being a private eye seem exciting and glamorous. Well, I hate to tell you what you already know, but you can't believe everything you see on the screen, kid. I was in this business for 20 years or so, and all it ever gave me was gray hair about 10 years early. It suits me, though. Everything about this world is gray. The city, the concrete, my jacket, even my eyes. I used to see things as black and white, but somewhere along the line, they got all muddled together. Now all I see is gray. That's the funny thing about gray. You can bring as much black or white into it as you want. All you're ever gonna get is more gray. There was a knock on the door. A rap, 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 like the heartbeat of an old man, dying without a will. His children about to tear the family apart over the scraps he leaves behind. Come back tomorrow. There was another knock, a more slow, steady one, like the kind the secret police in some banana republic let slip before they break down the door to arrest the journalists you've hidden in your basement. You gotta forgive me. You spend years in my line of work and you develop a taste for similes and metaphors. Like a poet, with just enough talent to slip a single paragraph into the annals of history after a lifetime of labor. It's probably Parnassus again. He comes around every now and again to ask me where the O'Houlihan Picasso is. It never existed, but nobody wants to believe something like that. They want mystery and excitement, not lies and slander. They don't want to spend all night solving riddles, only to open the vault and find nothing but Grandma's pearl necklace and a half-empty bottle of wild turkey. I could probably go for a half-empty bottle of wild turkey. The door swings open. I turn to tell whoever it is to make trails somewhere else. I was face to face with two metallic green eyes that brought a splash of color into my ugly, monochrome little world. Green eyes that shone like the false beacons over a coral reef, waiting for some homesick cargo barge to beach themselves so the smugglers could ransack it at low tide. I knew this person. We'd crossed paths several times before. They had a Christian name. If you go down to St. John of Riela's Orthodox Church in Pittsburgh, they'll go down into the basement and give it to you. To everybody else, though, their name is Sunshine. It's an ironic nickname, like the bald one in the Three Stooges being called Curly. Sunshine was colder than the day I was born, and more aloof than my high school prom date. They were sharp-looking, always immaculately groomed and fashionably dressed. They didn't smile much, and when they did, it fluttered into the corner of your eye like the knife that killed Caesar and left you on the concrete bleeding before you even realized you saw it. They walk up to my desk with their hands behind their back. What brought you all the way out to my part of town, Sunshine? They withdraw their hands from their back. I expected to see a revolver and a brick, but instead they had 2 coffees. They handed me one. It's a cappuccino that tastes vaguely like almonds. They tell me that they were in the neighborhood and decided to stop by, smiling like they thought I'd buy it. A likely story. Nobody ever comes to visit little old me just to talk. You're up to something. I can smell it on you like that fancy shampoo you use. I know you work for that law firm downtown. Looking to hire a snoop? They tell me no. Then they laugh and say they're looking for something else, relating to a personal matter. Then they smile at me, all coy-like. They were wondering where they could find a good, honest woman. Who do you think you are, Diogenes? Wandering the wastes with your lantern looking for an honest man. I nod at my filing cabinet. 3rd drawer down. I got a file on every honest person in this city. All 9 of them. No, I'm not one of them. Of course I'm not one of them. I lie for a living. They look at me like I'm slow on the uptake. They're playing some kind of a game, and I don't know the rules. What's your angle? What are you doing here? You saw me at the jazz club. What? That's crazy. I definitely don't have a sidekick as a saxophone player, not at all. Does this gray slab of cement look like it makes any beautiful noises? They throw a Polaroid down on the table. It's me, smiling, playing my sax in the basement of the old brick factory. The bastards got me dead to rights. So it's blackmail, huh? Gonna let it slip that old Graves is a big softy deep down? Letting my loneliness and grief out through the beauties of freeform jazz? What's your price, Sunshine? They laugh. They say they never realized I had hidden depths. They want to get to know me better. Get to know me? What are you talking about? It all falls into place, like a slab of concrete. The sudden arrival on a lonesome winter night. The coy smile. The playful tone. The cappuccino that tastes like almonds. They knew. They knew about the O'Houlihan Picasso. It all made sense now. Their law firm had been the ones he'd hired to be his defense team when the banks were looking like they were going to take him to court. Sunshine must have found the files. They knew me from other cases, and they knew my weaknesses. Blackmail was a start, but it wouldn't be enough. They needed more leverage, something life or death. The almonds. They'd given me poisoned coffee. I was Ulysses in the palace of Circe, and unlike him, I couldn't call the gods on a toll-free number. I had one hope. Tell them what really happened on the 23rd day in May 6 years ago. better sing like a canary. Now you listen here and you listen good. I'll tell you what old Johnny O'Houlihan did with his Picasso. I broke into the story, like an old man telling his grandkid about the bodies he'd buried in the war. He was an ambitious kid, grew up on the streets. He had dreams, but some kid from the meatpacking district can't just walk into a bank and get a loan. Not for the money he needed. He read about a Picasso painting that went missing during the siege of Madrid back in the 30s, and decided to paint himself a copy. He took it to the bank for collateral. I don't know anything about Picasso, and they must not have either, because it fooled him. They gave him the cash for his casino. They watched me talk with interest. I hope they believe me. Then O'Houlihan starts missing payments. The bank starts getting antsy. Starts thinking about what happens when they get the collateral. Start asking if they can get a look at the phony Picasso he's got hanging in the foyer. He knows if they actually get it appraised, his goose is cooked. So he burns it and claims it got stolen. They bring me in to go looking for it. The cheap bastards. It takes a while, but I start to get on the trail. O'Houlihan gets rash. He comes at me with a gun. It was him or me, and for some reason, I decided I wanted to live. They're listening to me with an expression of disbelief. They weren't expecting this. I presented my evidence to the bank, but that's when the real trouble started. Turns out the bank was on shaky ground too. If word got out they got scammed like this, well, the merger they were negotiating would be in jeopardy. They needed a patsy, so they tried to pin the theft on me. Neither side could prove anything. The charges didn't stick, but my reputation was forever stained. Now everybody thinks I've got some $1 million painting squirreled away someplace. If that was true, would I be living in this dump? I told you the truth, the whole truth and nothing but. Now give me the antidote. They were confused. Now I was confused. The ice broke. They seemed hurt. To the poisoned cappuccino. You think I'm an idiot? I can taste the cyanide. They pin me to the wall. I'm weak in the knees. It must be the poison. I can see out the window. I was born on a day like this, and I'll go out on a day like this too. I've never really appreciated symmetry. I look down them green eyes again. Cold and scheming. But there's something else there now. Something I had to get right up close to see. There's green fire in there. Warmer than the winter sun. We lock lips for one hot second. They taste like the pines in the forest north of town, where I used to play as a sad, naive little kid. I'm finally stumped. What was that? They laugh, warmly, like an old friend. They tell me it was the antidote. Then they start laughing again. It takes me a minute, but I start laughing too. Things aren't adding up. Then, it hits me. Wait a minute. I get it now. You're asking me out. That latte wasn't poison at all. I'm just a paranoid old fool. They laugh. I laugh with them. Ah, jeez. I just can't believe a hotshot like you would ever notice a dame like me. They pin me again. There's another smooch. This one is longer and slower. like a scenic drive through the Adirondacks. We go back and forth for a while. They pull away. They explain to me that I have a new case. I'm supposed to meet them at their place at 8 tomorrow night and take them to some hole-in-the-wall joint called Mancini's. They leave. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've never turned down a case from a good-looking stranger. Why start now?